The next Black Ops 6 Zombies map has been revealed. It is called The Tomb, and it will be releasing on January the 28th at the beginning of Season 2. Treyarch just announced everything as a part of 115 Day, which is the 15th of the 1st, with the main reveal being our next Zombies map coming in 2 weeks' time, where we get an official look at it, a description, and the logo. So let's go ahead and take a look at Treyarch's blog and take a look at our new Zombies map. The Tomb will be arriving with Season 2. This is the logo up on screen now, which looks really awesome. It fits the archaeological theming of the map. I love the blue purplish tint around it. The skulls on the bottom, it definitely gives off an eerie vibe. But Treyarch tell us that they're launching the new Zombies map in less than 2 weeks' time at the beginning of Season 2 on January the 28th. A little bit of a description and story about the map is after surviving the horrific events at Citadel Day Moore, Weaver, Gray, Carver and Meyer follow Gabriel Kraft's final words to a nearby excavation site to secure the Sentinel artifact, built on the remains of an ancient burial ground with suspected origins dating back to 2500 BCE. These catacombs went undisturbed for centuries until the early 1900s, and what lies beneath may run deeper than anyone ever imagined. As the rumours have it, a British archaeologist by the name of Sir Archibald Forthington Smith conducted an excavation at the site back in 1908 with grand expectations, although no one can say for sure what became of him. A handful of photographs from his doomed expedition have recently surfaced, so we can, well, I'm going to assume that the boss in this map may end up being this Sir Archibald person, which we have also heard from in a radio in Citadel Day Moore. We'll take a look at that in just a second, but that gives us a little bit of the map's story. This is one of the postcards from 1908, which says, "Marjorie, you would simply not believe this place. Dashed pyramids can go take a jump in a lake." And we can see on the image at least one of the underground tombs, by the looks of it anyway, a doorway here, which I would assume might have something to do with the Easter egg, and then the circular kind of what looks like maybe a fountain or some kind of fire in the middle. Continuing on, Treyarch say, "We've crafted the tomb to provide an experience similar to Liberty Falls, by far our most played Zombies map in recent years, featuring tighter play spaces with a focus on replayability. Just like Liberty Falls, we're delivering plenty of side Easter eggs and even a reimagined wonder weapon inspired by our past." That's all we'll say about that for now. As a reminder, every Zombies map in Black Ops 6 is an original location built from the ground up for the mode, but that doesn't mean we can't enjoy a wink or a nod here and there. On that note, we're going for something a little bit more evocative with our Pack-a-Punch camos this time around. And what if we told you one of the most iconic SMGs in Zombies history was coming along for the ride? And then we've got another postcard here which says, "The sight blithering well dot both baffle and amaze. I suppose I shall have to thank Alistair for more than just the contents of his cellar." And we can see more of the underground tomb here with a, what's this, maybe a circular door in the middle? I can only speculate on stuff like that, but just going back to the description, the first interesting thing they said is, just like all of the Zombies maps in BO6, this is being built from the ground up, which is interesting because we do know a portion of this map also exists in Warzone, so I'm assuming the above ground section of this map came first and then they placed it into the Warzone map, but also how they compare it to being an experience more similar to Liberty Falls than Terminus or Citadel Day Moore, because Liberty Falls is the most played Zombies map in a long time. We know why that is, because it caters more towards the general audience, not just Zombies, I guess, fans or specific players, whereas you could say Terminus was a proper Zombies map, Citadel Day Moore not as much, but Liberty Falls was designed by Treyarch to entice multiplayer players and Warzone players so that everybody could get into Zombies and play without it being a chore. Because of that, Liberty Falls was extremely popular, and that wasn't the only reason. As a regular Zombies player, I also really like Liberty Falls. In fact, it might be my favourite map in Black Ops 6. It's on par with Terminus. I think the two are really good, but I will admit Liberty Falls is a really easy map to get into. There's not the annoyance of having to activate all three of the generators like there is in Terminus. You can just run straight to the Pack-a-Punch, which is super easy. The game tells you what to do. The layout's good. You don't really have to go back and forth between locations. There is the zipline to get to the Pack-a-Punch relatively quickly instead of having to run through the map. Okay, it lacks on the atmosphere side, but when it comes to you just wanting to get in and play a quick game of Zombies or an easy game, that's the map to play. And so because it was the most popular, it seems like Treyarch have, from what they've said, tried to replicate that in the Tomb. They say Liberty Falls has a lot of tight spaces, which, to be honest, I wouldn't say it does. The small alleyways are still relatively big, especially compared to some maps we've had. I don't think it's that tight. But Treyarch say in the Tomb they're focusing more on tighter play spaces and replayability, which is going to be interesting because I wouldn't say either of the three Zombies maps, Terminus, Liberty Falls, or Citadel, are more replayable than the other. I think gameplay wise, they're all about the same. There's not really a shift in how I play each map. They have the same replayability in my opinion. Although Liberty Falls does have the best side Easter eggs. Then again, Terminus has a better main quest. And Treyarch say that they're going to be delivering plenty of side Easter eggs which is great. The only thing I would say is, well, Citadel de More had a ton of side Easter eggs as well, but a lot of them were empty and kind of meaningless. So hopefully, just like Liberty Falls ones, such as the Etherella one, they actually have some substance to them. And the other thing they mention is the wonder weapon in this map will be something we've seen before, but reimagined. And from what we've been told by leakers, well, we have 3 more zombies maps to go, but we only know of 2 wonder weapons that are coming, which is the Ray Gun Mark II and the Wunderwaffe. We're not sure which maps we're going to be getting these wonder weapons in. I would guess the Wunderwaffe DG2 will be in the Mansion map, the Ray Gun Mark II in the Janus Towers map, meaning in Dig Site, we're not really too sure what the wonder weapon is. It could be the Mark II. As Treyarch say here, it will be a reimagined wonder weapon, so it will be something we've seen before, but it will work differently. If it is the Ray Gun Mark II we're getting, we've seen it a couple of times now. We've had the normal version and the elemental versions in Alpha Omega, so if that comes back, how could Treyarch change it up to reimagine it? What other wonder weapon could they bring back? Because it has to be a returning wonder weapon. They say it's reimagined, so I'm just trying to think what they could possibly bring back. It could be the Wunderwaffe, I guess, but it makes more sense for us to see that in the Mansion map. Could it be the Paralyzer? The Thunder Gun? I don't know. I'm suspicious that it's going to be the Ray Gun Mark II, but I'm really interested to find out. And another thing they said which was intriguing is, even though each Zombies map is built from the ground up, that doesn't mean that they can't enjoy a wink and a nod here and there. To me, that tells us that something in the tomb, an area perhaps, is going to be returning from an old Zombies map. If they're saying it doesn't mean they can't enjoy a wink and a nod here and there, a nod to the past, there may be a location in the tomb that we've seen before. Maybe the tomb from Origins, the tomb of Richtof and Takeo Nikolai and Dempsey, where you build the staffs. Maybe you can find that area in this map, or maybe a location from Buried, because that was underground. I would think it would be a location that we've seen underground in the past, perhaps the crypt from Der Eisendrache. And the final thing which I want to bring up again is they also say they're bringing back one of the most iconic SMGs in Zombies history. The only 2 SMGs I can think of is either the MP40 or the Thompson. To me, those 2 are the most iconic SMGs ever. There's probably others, but those are the ones that come to mind, and honestly, I would take either of them. So yeah, they just finish off this portion of the blog by saying, next week in the Season 2 blog, we'll be getting more information then for the map to release the week after, on January the 28th. There are a few other things though. First off, the song for the map. You can take a listen to a teaser of that now. I will leave a link to it down in the description. And then, as a part of Season 2, there's going to be some quality of life improvements to Zombies as well, which will be the ability to pause in co-op. So in matches where everyone is in the same party, the leader will now be able to pause the game for everyone to regroup on strategy or take snack breaks during those high round runs. So that's great. You can now pause in co-op Zombies with your friends. AFK kick loadout recovery. If a player gets kicked from going AFK in a co-op game, they'll now be able to rejoin and restore their loadout. Again, that's a great change. Separate HUD presets for Zombies and multiplayer. At last, you'll be able to set up the HUD preset settings you prefer for Zombies and keep an entirely different setup for multiplayer without having to change them between modes. And challenge tracking and near completion. So you can now manually track up to 10 calling card challenges and 10 camo challenges per mode. So some great quality of life improvements as well. As I'm recording, the official Call of Duty page has just released this teaser over on their Twitter of a brand new postcard that says, "Here, in this vast natural cavern, a Neolithic temple constructed to honour long forgotten gods. I must say, this was well worth the risk." Yeah, I can tell, at least from a storyline perspective, this is going to be a really good map. And speaking of the storyline, like I mentioned earlier on in the video, there is a radio which you can find in Citadel de More that gives you a little bit more about the tomb story.
I'd like to begin by expressing my gratitude for your eagerness, Sir Archibald.
Nonsense, old boy. I won't hear a word of it. I'd be a fool and a rank amateur to pass on an opportunity to collaborate. Your research is so thorough, not to mention groundbreaking.
Yes. Well, your endeavor is integral to my work, and we will both reap the benefits. Now, it's of vital importance that you don't let the reputation of the place color your senses.
Yes, I've been conducting inquiries as to the procurement of local workers, but thus far it's all been coming up a little empty. As far as I can tell, no one wants a damn thing to do with the place. If you ask me, the whole thing smacks of hysteria, which, between us, could be quite the positive. What? Makes it more likely the site's not been looted already.
Indeed. I'll shoulder the cost for you to recruit outside the area. Some sturdy ruffians is what's called for. You'll need the muscle. Given the amount I'm shelling out, I expect you to run a tight ship, Sir Archibald. This excavation is to be efficient, targeted, discreet. and do not return without the artifact in hand.
You have no fear. I wouldn't dream of it. We Fotherington Smythes are a tenacious lot once we set our minds to something.
Good man. I wish you luck on your travels. I imagine we'll be much changed the next time we see one another. Now, another spot of port.
Rather.
So there we go, that is all of the news surrounding the next Zombies map then, the Tomb. There will be a blog coming next week which will give us even more, but yeah, I'm super excited. It's coming really soon after Citadel Day More in 2 weeks time. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, hopefully you've enjoyed. If you have, drop a like rating, make sure you are subscribed, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, goodbye.